Test, 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 test. Alright, let's get the microphone up and going. Looks like it's at least on the right input. So we'll see how this goes today. We're going to try and do some of this in VR, or at least pull in VR camera rigs and whatnot. I don't know if the system's going to be able to handle running VR on top of everything else I'm already running, so we may or may not run that there, but the goal is for this to be a full VR Starship bridge. You can already see there's some lighting issues that need to be resolved, or at least you will when I pull up the scene. Yeah, so we're going to be using a kit from Creepy Cat called the 3D Sci-Fi Kit Volume 3, which basically already has a really awesome Starship built for us, and we're going to be using that in combination with the game framework that we built for a game jam a few months ago for a game called Open Path, and it's already got basically a dynamically generated solar system galaxy type set of data, so I can enter coordinates in the galaxy and go to a randomly generated solar system. So that gives us lots of options to fly around. This was built from a mobile game, so scales are going to be all wonky, but the main goal is to kind of build a bridge type experience that's powered by voice and just kind of explorable in VR, and has kind of a cool way to navigate throughout the solar system that it's currently in. So, as usual, we've got maybe 3 or 4 hours to build as much as we can, and we may pick up this project again after that. We may not, who knows. Kind of depends on how interesting I find it. But yeah, this is what I kind of felt like building today, so that's what we're going to build. Of course, my display has changed again. I'm telling you, every stream, it decides a new display is my primary display. Alright, so here we are. We're on the bridge of this starship. It's called the Starship Infinity. We'll fly outside and take a look. So this is the starship that we're going to be crew members on. It's currently really, really close to a miniature sun that is part of the solar system. Like I said, scale is definitely not set up properly. The solar system is built to be viewed in 2D. And so it's flattened. You can see the other planets in the solar system. So we may adjust the scale here, we may not. I think the really important part that we want to build today is going from point A to point B in a way that makes sense. What else? So yeah, if you haven't seen these models, they're really pretty awesome. This definitely will not run on a Quest, unless it's in PC VR mode, which is what we're going to be doing today. Even then, I have doubts about its performance out of the box. I haven't actually tried this in a headset yet, but we'll get there. So the first thing I think we're going to need to do is bring in Voice SDK and Oculus, the integration package. So we have a VR rig, a VR camera rig. What else? I decided I'd go ahead and do that now since I didn't have a chance to do that in the webinar that I gave a week or so ago, or a few days ago, whenever that was. So we'll start with that. So let's refresh. Good with V34. Let's bring in V34. V34 is the first version that supports voice. I'll go ahead and bring this up interactively so we can see what's in it. So this is the Oculus integration. If you just want voice for your project, all you need is this directory, and you can skip importing anything else. But since we're going to convert this into a full VR project, I'm going to pull everything in. Are you talking about the CatSoft?
Yes.
Yeah, it's this 3D space kit is just, it's insane what's in here. There's so much stuff. It's really pretty. The guy did a great job, and for the price, you get way more than. I mean, he should be charging a lot more than he is for the amount of quality content that's in it. Yeah, it definitely looks good, and I love the spaceship that he's got here. I'm just using this straight out of the box because I wanted to give it some life. I wanted it to feel like a real live interactive ship. I'll probably eventually do a session where I create my own ship and customize the interior and whatnot. But right now, my goal is to take the interior he's got and the UI components that he has here and make them do something dynamic. And once I have that kind of foundation built, then creating a custom ship will be something fun to do. Because once I have all of the UI and the interactions built, it'll be just drag and drop to build a new bridge that'll look really cool. I built a kind of a capital ship with his kit a few months ago on stream, and it was the interior is really getting the interior right is actually really hard. Having it properly line up with all of the modular exterior pieces, you kind of have to build the interior first and then build the shell around it. A lot of wasted space in the actual shell itself, the shell that is the Starship. But it's cool. I don't know if you've ever, what is it, Polaris, I think, is something we played with Irish on Games a while back. And that's kind of what I would love to see this bridge turn into. I really don't have enough time to build something like that in its entirety, but I can at least dream and build little bits and pieces that make it feel like I built it. You never know, so when we take the concepts from this and actually build it into a real thing. And of course, I need to update. So it looks like I'm going to go ahead and give OpenXR as a foundation a try this time. I don't really need the high definition capsules for hand detection on this. I'll want some sort of like finger be able to poke the UI type interactions, but I can worry about that later. The big question is, when this does restart Unity, will the project reopen? Because I've had some issues with 2021.2. If it fails, we'll start a quick new project where we can kind of build some of this stuff independently. All right. It successfully restarted without totally breaking, so that's definitely something. Here, there's XR menu. We need to convert this. Question is, did it actually bring in the XR stuff? The worst one. Oh yeah, so with Voice SDK, your first server, your linking of your account, that first window, and I think we're going to adjust how that UI works. I think it's a little confusing. It's really linking to your WIT account, so that that Unity can have access to your app, and it actually stores that in your editor preferences. So with each new project you create, you don't start from scratch. You'll just need to create a new config, and you'll still have to go basically drop in the server config for that project. But yeah, right now it's a little confusing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the original assumption was along the lines of that most devs would be working on a single project, maybe across teams, and then you'd import that project and maybe potentially work on different versions of that same project. But yeah, we'll see where that ends up landing. It's definitely something I want to get cleaned up a little bit so it's a little less confusing. All right, so I don't see a XR menu yet.
If I recall correctly, he has a demo scene that has a ship working with errors. Tons of demo scenes in this too.
Yeah, I've looked at some of the demo scenes a little bit. Not a whole lot. Mostly glance through them to find pre-built models that I want to use for projects I'm already working on. See, I don't understand why it didn't bring in XR plugin management along with the OpenXR package. Or did it even bring in OpenXR? It didn't bring in OpenXR either. Alright, let's bring in this. I need to go back and catch the video on setting up, the latest video on setting up a fresh Oculus rig. I haven't watched one yet. I haven't done it in a little while. So we're kind of giving this a try based on how I've done it in the past, not necessarily how you should be doing it for V34. I can't remember if there was a Connect session on this yet, but I'll have to dig through and find it. I think I need to import that, but I'm not 100% on that. Let's go to project settings.
Just me or Yolan's voice a little low?
I can turn it up a bit. Test, test. Is that any better? A little more testing, testing. How's that work, man?
Yes, there is some background air noise though.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I... Hold on, let me check the filters. I don't know if I've turned filters on this setup. Where are my filters? I might be able to reduce the
You were at
noise.
the beach today? Laughing face.
You know, it's windy enough outside that I wouldn't be surprised if you could hear it. So we do have noise suppression turned on. Let me turn this up a little bit and see if that helps. Test, test, test. Even more. How's that? Keep that up so we can tweak it as necessary. Alright, so we need to go in here and we need to find XR plugin management.
Pretty good. Still can hear the background noise, but whatever I guess smiley face.
Let's turn on Oculus. I'm gonna have to create a VR project template in Asset Manager now that I have templates working. One for my VR setup anyway. Alright, got quest 1, quest 2. Okay, go ahead and close that.
Oh yeah, that is a good idea. I've been doing the same thing a couple of times already.
Find my actual preview. One of these monitors. Oh, I turned it off. There we go. Now we've got preview monitor going. Okay, now I should be able to go to the main camera and convert to XR rig. I don't know if that's the recommended way to do it with OVR camera and the new OpenXR stuff. I really need to learn the new ways. But let's stick ourselves on the bridge.
2019.4.32 with XR management framework.
Yeah, the problem with 2019 and XR stuff is there are a lot of new things with the newer Unities, XR wise. I don't even remember them all at this point. I think a lot of them work backported, but I'm not 100% on that. Oh, I forgot to switch back to the display. That's alright, I'm gonna hit play here anyway. Let's go and save. I still haven't built in. I was gonna have the Twitch battle guys yell at me to save every once in a while, depending on the current save state of Unity. But I haven't gotten around to building it yet. Alright, is this actually working? Oh, headset is very much not in a good place. Have to replug it in. I'm going to turn link back on. I'm getting like a half frame a second on Oculus Home right now. So yeah, this probably won't work while I'm streaming. At least I need to change how my rig is set up if I want to demo this while I'm streaming. I think the Twitch battle is pretty performance heavy right now too. I also don't see the preview. I'm definitely plugged into the right PC. I was worried about that for a minute. Let's restart this now that I've reconnected the headset. You guys are still kind of staring at here. I'll switch back over to the display so you can really see what I'm doing while I'm getting this going. I also don't know the state of this headset. It could be in a weird state at the moment. I don't know what version of the OS it's on. I don't think it's on v34. Oh, and it looks like the AI is spawning too. So this is what the solar system kind of looks like. From the view you're supposed to see it at. And you see the planets are orbiting. And then we've got ships out here that will attack you. So it looks like these guys are all orbiting this planet here. Alright. Oh, and it looks like somebody blew somebody up. Alright, we won't worry about that for now. We don't really need to worry about running in headset at the moment either. At least not to get what we're trying to get going first working. So yeah, in case you missed it earlier, this is the Spaceship Infinity. Alright. So our first goal, I think, is going to be to bring up a solar system chart here on this table. This hollow table.
Colliders on those chairs look a bit unnecessary. The base.
Yeah, we could probably remove the base collider. We could probably remove this collider for that matter. This box down here. At least it's mostly boxes. Alright, let's go to the next track. This song, don't like it. Music today, we're listening to the Sci-Fi and Space Moods from Epidemic Sound. Alright, so that, we don't really want that. This is going to be our hollow table.
So planning to do a bridge commander type thing using Voices DK?
Yeah, that's kind of the goal today. I want to, let's think about what voice commands we might want to have for today's build. I want to be able to say, navigate to the third planet in the solar system, take me to the M-class planet number 2 or something like that. We'll want to be able to change the contents of this hollow table. So I'm going to want to be able to say, bring up the star chart for this system, bring up the star chart for this galaxy, for example, so we can go between solar systems. We'll see what we get built today. We'll probably have to mock up most of these, but I think we can build a quick solar system chart. We already have the data for that. Maybe potentially say, show me the third planet and have it zoom in and take up like the whole nav table. So yeah, I think today it's going to be about navigating and getting around the solar system. So
Raise shields, or does the AI attack?
The AI does attack. This ship is not rigged yet to move or fly or be detectable by the AI or really do anything. I just dropped the model in. So, yeah. We'll eventually, yes, the AI will attack it. One thing I want to do is have at each of these consoles up here have like a hollow display that comes up and shows laser turrets.
Is this custom AI or a space kit from the store?
The AI was something that Wizards and I built for the most part. There are very few assets that are actually used in this project beyond art. We grabbed assets like this because neither Wizards or I are artists, and yeah. But let's see, what kit I can pull up. What do we have installed in here? So we've got some flags and faction type stuff. Sci-Fi Kit Volume 3. Some of these are free assets too. I think this 8K Milky Way skybox is free. Awesome charts and graphs. We use that elsewhere in the game. Deep Space Skybox Pack, I believe that one's free. Highlight Plus is from Connect. We haven't used that one yet. High-res spaceships creator free, so the AI ships that you saw flying around earlier, those are from that pack. We also have the full pack from that guy in here too. Lean Touch was a big one for the Android, the phone version of this game. Next Gen Planets, which I think we're going to be subbing out Next Gen Planets for what's the big one? The planet creation kit that looks really good, because we got that in a sale recently. And then some random SFX packs. So yeah, that's what's in this project. We built the gameplay in, I think it was a week, maybe. It's a little broken now, because neither of us have touched it in a month and a half, 2 months, and we don't entirely remember how to make it work. It was a little complicated to begin with, mostly because we're doing full solar system generation, and the galaxies generated. Yeah, that one. So I haven't imported that in here yet, but the planets out here will likely get replaced by that because they look better. These look okay. This kit was a lot cheaper. I already had it from a bundle somewhere, and they look good enough from a distance. They have kind of built-in shading for when you orbit the sun. The shading follows the orbit of the planet around the sun. So they look alright. But it's not quite what I wanted. Alright, so let's start building our hollow interface. And I think I'm going to create a new empty for this. And grab these coordinates. Oh, it's gonna, I guess it will show the coordinates to grab to the local. Yeah, I grabbed the local, not the world. There we go. Alright, and so our spaceship is going to move, so everything's going to have to generally fall under that. So maybe I'll create an empty under here for that stuff. Ship interfaces. I'll probably eventually end up parenting these directly, like when we start talking about these screens and this UI here. I'll probably end up actually parenting the UI directly to these so that we can spawn them in individually when you customize your ship. But for now, I'm going to do this all here so it's easier to find. Alright, so let's, under the interface, we're going to create another object. We're going to call this map. So I imagine we're going to have several different interfaces. One that's a map, maybe one that's a resources or stats interface, maybe one that's we'd say bring up enemy ship and have a holographic display of one of the enemy ships, maybe. We'll start with the map. Alright, it's the map. How do we do this? Got this, a reference to the source
Like
system.
busts of alien commanders you communicate with?
Yeah, we could do something like that too. That would be really cool. Like I said, I don't know where we're going to get with this project beyond star system navigation, but keep the ideas flowing, because maybe I'll slowly build up into something bigger. Alright, so the map, let's start with a solar system map that just has the planets. Let's dig down. We're going to need to write some scripts. I think this, in general, this stream's going to be a little more script heavy than normal. So I could do the same solar system object and just create another solar system instance that is internal to the map, and then alter the scale, which might work out really well and reduce the overall amount of code that we have to do. So let's duplicate the solar system. Don't think just scaling it is going to work. But we'll try it just to see. Hey, it kind of works. So I'll have to adjust the individual orbits. It's definitely not going to work to just duplicate and scale, but there's an idea. Just let's turn off the gizmos. Take these.
Well, it does. You just have to mask and pan what is visible.
So maybe scale the orbits down a little bit more. No, that's not gonna work. So really control. Maybe I can turn off the orbit renderers, although they look really cool, but they're not. I'm gonna have to redo them for this to work in a 3D environment, because they were built to work in 2D, so they're literally only 2D. But then we could go each planet potentially, and maybe scale that up a little bit. not sure where the hollow effects are turning off. He may have a local volume set up for these. I haven't really dug through to figure out how that's all configured just yet. Okay, let's do a dedicated solar system map script that uses the solar system that we're in. I think we'll get by a little bit better. We need a folder. We'll start out with a main map controller. Alright, so we have a solar system. And then we can get all of the planets within the solar system. But I think we're going to want to do some sort of hollow display for those and not show the actual planets. Because the textures get all wonky at that scale anyway. So maybe we'll just spawn these using these spheres for now. Alright, so we've got prefabs for those. Let's go ahead and add them here. Our planet, our sun, and let's drag in our solar system. We'll create transforms for our solar system map and the galaxy map. And what we'll do is we'll scale and zoom in from these. And one thing we'll likely want to do is set up a stencil buffer for this, so that only the contents on the holotable are drawing and the rest gets clipped. We won't do that right now, so I gotta figure out how to do it. But for this holotable to make sense, I think it might be a necessity. Or we could just say it takes up the whole space of the bridge, and with the focus at the center of the holotable. We can explain it away. Drag in our solar system map, and we'll drag in the galaxy map. If you've never used Odin before, I highly recommend it. It provides awesome functionality like adding UI buttons in the inspector with a simple attribute. So you can easily create and debug things in no time without having to write a whole editor script around it. So I can click on the show solar system map before we're ready to bring in the voice command to do it and verify that the animation's working. If you haven't really messed with the voice SDK yet, a lot of it's really calling methods via callbacks.
I have used it before. Button is probably one of the biggest ones I use.
Yeah, button is a major time saver, especially when you're debugging things, and you just really, especially when you're building a hackathon type project or a game jam type project, it can save you a lot of time building debug UI that you really are never going to use again. Okay, so on enable, we're going to go ahead and when this map gets enabled, we're going to grab the solar system configuration and pre-spawn everything in. It may not be visible yet. In fact, we're going to want to start with these disabled. So when we're starting to talk about voice commands again on this, one thing that we can do with the holo table is we can adjust the holographic color of planets. So one thing I want to be able to say is, computer, show me the planets that are rich in iron, or show me the planets that have high populations, or any type of requests like that. That's one thing I'm going to try and build today if we have time. I don't know if we'll get there, but we'll try. We're going to have to figure out how to build a holographic planet first. But first we got to display the planets in the solar system.
What will be the activator? Looking at the table, just saying the word computer won't work, will it?
So I'm probably going to set it up to work with saying the word computer. I have assets that will make that possible. So if we get that far, I will likely be setting that up and showing you how to use the ring buffer's back buffer to take advantage of that. And so if it works, and I haven't actually tried this yet recently since we built the ring buffer for WIT, but in theory, using one of the local pattern recognition assets for voice should allow me to trigger based on saying computer, so to give me kind of a local wake word that's processed offline and then triggers voice. So that's the hope. I've done something very similar to it before. If you saw my Archer demo a while back, I used a onboard transcription service to listen for keywords to use as triggers to start sending data to WIT for processing. So it is possible to do wake words. It's
So
just
I get it's not voice SDK, but something local that can process and then trigger the online SDK.
correct. So something really simple and local, like a local library like Pocket Sphinx or something like that, that will recognize words, but it's not real great at recognizing phrases and whatnot, and has no NLU backing, but strictly using that as a wake word or trigger tool to use the full power of voice SDK. It's a trick I've used a number of times now that works pretty well. But I have not tried it with the ring buffer yet, and now that that's built, it should work even better because I'll be able to start the audio that I send, starting with the computer, do blah, 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 versus having to use the way I did it before. Basically, I used a offline transcription service, which was really awful at recognizing what you said for the most part, and then sending it up. But now, with this ring buffer setup, I only really have to be able to recognize a word or two, and it doesn't even have to be accurate, really. It just has to be close and understand that you said something close to that, and then let the NLU figure out if you actually said what it is you said and how to process it.
less syllables is probably better then. Like, HAL, lol.
Yeah, I could go HAL. I've always wanted to build computer, and I haven't actually done it yet, so I might do it. I really like it. Just because I watch way too much Star Trek with my son.
Shadowgate game? I think the voice SDK in days would be great with the Raven Odin.
Shadowgate game. I don't think so. Are you talking? You're talking about what was it?
On the Quest.
No, I don't think I have. I want to do a curve for this.
It's called Shadowgate VR, The Mines of Mithric.
I don't think I have played that one. Oh, hold on, let me look it up. Shadowgate VR, The Mines of Mithric.
Has a talking raven that tells you hints and stuff. Would be cool to be able to talk back.
Interesting. Yeah, worst one, I'll give that a try. Maybe I'll talk to them about that.
I'm thinking of trying a similar thing for the back, only maybe holding a talking skull or a crystal ball.
Are you doing the hackathon?
A little animated talking skull would be cool.
I am going to give it a shot.
Cool. Good luck. They give you guys a long time to work too. Most hackathons and game jams I've done have been a weekend or a week max, and they give you what, like 2-3 weeks? Well, maybe 2 weeks. Still. Let's see.
Good thing since the V34 Unity kit didn't come out till Friday, laughing face.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Can't really talk about it, but yeah, we were a little frustrated there too. It is planet curve. Why do I call it planet curve? That doesn't make sense.
It's all good. I understand the woes of software dev and also the Unity store.
So that should scale us in. We have to change that later, but this is working now. Alright, so we've got a show, we've got a hide. Getting close to needing to start adding in some voice commands. It's a little more complicated than my usual voice commands demo that I give. But I wanted to build something fun. It's my Sunday stream. I don't build realistic things on Sunday. Only fun things.
As it should be.
Right. So back to our map. Let's set our scaling speed to 1,000. I just kind of so we do 10. Then let's do our curve. We do something that looks kind of like that for our curve. We might add some bounces in here later, but that'll work for now. I'm gonna save our scene because I don't do that often enough. We should have some spawned in planets under there. I'm going to turn off the faction spawner. I think that's chewing up some of our resources unnecessarily since we're not ready to work with it right now anyway. The solar system. I think this is what's spawning in our enemies. Disabling it should be enough. We clearly had an error in the map somewhere. Solar system. Did we not set the solar system? We set the solar system. We'll do this on demand. Because I think there's a timing issue. I don't remember when we're actually spawning in the solar system. It'll make it a little easier to spot the error too. There we go. Increase that to 100. So we've got our solar system popping in. There it is going out. So now we just need to adjust the positioning. And get them orbiting again. I don't know that we're going to orbit, not on the map, but at least get them positioned around the center object. We probably want to move this up a little bit though, so it spawns off of the table. And maybe we'll have it do kind of a spiral around the center point. Which we can get from the planet's orbit. One of these. No, you're not exposing that. Alright, let's expose that. So we'll start out with spreading them all out to the right of center, based off of their current position in orbit around the sun. Which actually isn't going to work either, because we should do this by index. To make the transform easy, we're going to do create an empty game object as a parent for these. this in a minute. Let's take a look at what we've got. Alright, so maybe a little big. So I think we need to decrease the planet size, decrease the scale, which we can actually do this way. And I think we'll decrease the distance between the individual planets as well. So let's add a perimeter for that. We'll go 0.25 on that. Solar system maps active in the hierarchy. So that should get our planets orbiting around. I don't know what the speed's gonna be like. Still a little big. So let's take the planet size down to 0.125. Also didn't get the parenting done right, so this needs to be in orbit. So maybe we take the plane of the table and we rotate it slightly and have the planets kind of orbit in a circle within the table. So that didn't happen. It was supposed to happen. Oops. That's not right. We missed the repositioning of the planet orbit. The goal position. Yeah, I think that speed's just really, really slow on the orbit, which is fun. Let's do this. We'll do... do no speed, no rotation. Let's see how that looks. And maybe up here. Let's give that a try. So where's fun? What project are you going to be doing for the hackathon? Did you get your team all set up? Oops.
Using the voice SDK track, probably something with spells and magic.
Oh yeah, you said you were thinking about doing something with a skull or something yourself. Definitely want to rotate in the Y. Why is this not rotating? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, maybe some dragon pets too. Dragons are popular.
Dragons are, especially with me. Alright, so now we have a bunch of planets kind of orbiting.
Are you a judge?
I don't know yet. I think that since there are people I know in the community that are participating, I don't think I can judge this time. I was in the last one. Alright.
I am trying to decide if I'm going to have to be sick next week in order to get enough done. It's hard with the kids on nights and weekends to work.
Yeah. Working during the day is definitely a benefit if you can. Is it just you, or do you have a team? The question is, do I want to have it orbit like that, or do I want to have it orbit around the z-axis? Z. It is orbiting around z.
My sister is interested in helping, but she just might be contributing audio work. I don't have licenses for two. Planning to use VRIF as the framework. I tried Hurricane, but other than stabbing things, I think VRIF has it beat.
Yeah, I've tried both at this point. Not in detail, really, yet, but I think the documentation was a little bit better for VRIF as well. They both seem to use the same documentation system. They look really, really almost suspiciously similar. But I don't think they're actually related or anything.
Yeah, I had the same thoughts. Probably just the same Autodoc open source thing.
Yeah. Which I want to know what they use, because I like it. I could use a decent dock system like that. Oh. Oops. Pay attention to warnings. It's like, why aren't these spread out a little bit more? Oh, there you go. Look at that. Nice spiral. Just got to get the sun going in the middle, and I think we will be ready to start manipulating this map. Maybe I want to go the opposite direction. Things you can do with math. we could have this do some really cool shapes if I sat down and thought about the equations a little bit. I used to love doing figuring out new shapes that I could generate just with functions, mathematical functions. I don't do that anymore. So let's
Math is pretty awesome like that.
So our star is going to be, its parent needs to be the same as the solar system map.
Found in Wiki, JS.
Sweet, I'm going to bring that up on Monday. Alright, so we're instantiating the star. Let's just do this. We don't really need a transform here. I'm tempted to just use the star model for the star itself, because it's kind of bright anyway. I think that's an effective star map. Then I might have gaze stop the rotation when it interacts with the planet, and show some details about it. And then maybe have it set up so if I say set a course for this planet, it'll recognize that. So we can throw some gaze interaction in there if we want. Gaze gets really awkward quickly though with small objects, so I don't know if we'll do that. We shall see. I do need to shrink the star a little bit.
How do you return to orbit? Stop looking?
Yeah, I'll set a larger exit sphere, exit collider around the planet, so you can move your head a bit and then time it. So yeah, as long as you're looking kind of in the vicinity of the planet, it'll work. And then as soon as you look up or away, you're kind of more towards another planet, it would work. That always gets a little iffy. We did that with Oppie, and it worked pretty well. So we need to adjust the sun. I want to adjust the sun. Sun.
You involved in coding Oppie?
Not very. I mean, I built the stuff that was used, and then and then we had a whole team that was working on that. So I was there more for support and optimization and performance than actually building the experience itself. But I did build we called it Loxy before, where I had a demo scene set up with one of the cute foxes from some pack, and so I got the head gaze and all of that stuff prototyped out and built before we integrated it into the Oppie project, which was being worked on in parallel to what we were working on. So I did some of the original concept around it, but didn't do the direct integration. It was supposed to be kind of a test for another engineer to pick up the voice SDK work and have me be more consulting and them treat it like it is another application. So that was my contribution to that particular project. A little more indirect. Yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with a profiler in the last month or two before launch. We found out there's a bug with Unity's microphone. I don't know if it's a bug, but with Unity's microphone, where when you actually turn on the mic access for the first time, it basically chews up, was it like 100 some odd milliseconds, like full on lock up to 100 some odd milliseconds. So we had to do some tricks around there to open up the mic when your scene starts and not when you actually go to activate, because every time we were activating, it was causing a headlock in VR. Works fine on other platforms like Windows and
Yeesh.
and Mac, but yeah, it was not good on any Android or iOS device. The Corona for this is a little messed up. I may not be able to. Yeah, I eventually tracked it down. There's a known Unity bug around that no one seems to have solved. One seems to be off-centered.
must not be a whole lot of mobile mic usage.
Well,
Till now, smiley face.
it's more about VR mic usage than mobile in this case. Because if you're mobile, it all works. It's just you'll get a little bit of a hitch in performance, and chances are, especially on a mobile app, you're not going to notice the issue. But when you're in VR, it's noticeable. It's a major problem. Let's see if this works. Yeah, if your frame rate drops every once in a while in mobile, you generally don't notice, as long as it's typically 30-40 frames a second. It really doesn't like the scale that I'm throwing at it. I wonder if I took this... break the prefab. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to have the planets rotate around the sun in a circle kind of at the base of the table, and then when you say planet name, it's going to zoom up and go centered and show full size. Got the planets around the table. The star's a little small now. But I think we're ready to set up our first set of voice commands. And we're starting this app from scratch, so you'll get to see me go through the full setup of a brand new voice SDK app. Fix the scale on this hollow sun. And then we'll be ready. Set up the first voice command, which is going to be show the map and hide the map. Perfect. I like that. I think I'm going to decrease the planet distance a little bit more still, but it's good enough for now. And do that like this. Set the scale of the map to 0.5. Alright, so I gotta pull up a browser window and open up WIT.
What is the width configuration dropdown for? Do I need to pick something other than Shapes demo? It already has found my app from the code.
Yeah, so you don't want to use the Shapes demo. Let me see. Let me get to that point real quick. So we're setting up a voice command. We'll go to voice SDK and go to settings, and that'll get the pop-up going here. And you'll see this WIT configuration drop-down. These are the two built-in demos, and I would recommend in a new project not importing the demo directory at all. It really doesn't serve any purpose for you, and it just adds extra WIT configurations. But you're going to want to create one specifically for your app. And I generally like to do that here. I need to go into data, new folder, voice. And I stick my WIT configuration in here. And it's on the wrong application right now, so I'm going to create a new app. Move this over here.
Oh, I see.
I don't want to show off all the apps in my... Not that there's anything you guys haven't already seen. We'll call this, what are we going to call this? Open path? And I gotta grab my token. So what you can't see is I'm in settings right now, I'm grabbing a token, and I'm gonna paste it in here. Relink. And actually I need to go to my application configuration, which I'm going to move down here. Okay, I think I should be able to do this without exposing. There we go. So if you want to change the application that you're running, grab your server access token and then go to the application configuration dropdown and just hit the paste button there, and it'll switch you to the application that you want. And that changes it for the WIT configuration that's selected here. So you don't want to have shapes or timer selected. You can, I mean, it won't make much of a difference either way. But those are demo WIT configurations, so just be aware that you're changing those rather than one that you want to modify, which is the one that you can find here. And then you're basically done with this window at that point. I almost never have the WIT configuration window open. Alright, so we need to start adding some voice commands. Let's start with show the map and hide the map. And we're going to create an intent that is map control. So I'm going to do this show and hide as all as part of the map controls. So I'm going to add an action that I'm going to tie to show. So when you select show, it's going to be an action. This one's not going to have a target, so it's just going to show whatever the default map is. So I'm going to hit train and validate. So the next one I'm going to do show the solar system map. Call this map type. We'll do hide the map.
Might be me, but can that be bigger?
Yeah, I can zoom in.
I can read the code on the right, not that.
Oh, right, I forgot I'm still in coding mode. I got a display, it'll make it a lot bigger. Better? So hide is going to be another action. I'll go ahead and train and validate that. So let's do switch. Maybe show me the solar system. And we will go ahead and do map control again here. And so the action is going to be show, which, yeah, that'll work. Maybe display. And here's something map. Something I want to point out here is display. Display is basically, in this case, a synonym for the show action. So one thing you can do is when you get the resolve value here, and I'll show you how to do this in entities later, but instead of display here, I'm going to have it resolve to show. That way you can have a bunch of different synonyms point to the same actions. So you can have a few different ways to ask for the same thing when you have an entity. When you're dealing with intents, you can get away with a little bit more variety there than you can with entities, as far as I'm aware. So you kind of want to enter in all the synonyms you can really think of just to make sure that you get them all trained. And then the phrasing and the ordering and stuff like that, that's all fully dynamic and resolved by NLU over time. So if I go into entities here, And
So you could do bring up the map.
yeah, and actually it should theoretically, and we can try this, maybe I won't train it on bring up the map. It might work, although since bring up isn't really recognized, it's not going to have, it'll have a, if I don't train it for bring up the map, it will give us a map control intent, but it won't know what bring up means. So yeah, that one's one we will have to train. But if I said just bring up the map, it would, after this training happens, it would probably resolve to map control directly. But we're going to alias bring up as another action for show. And if we weren't doing this where I was using actions and I just had the intent map control, or maybe an intent specifically to show the map, which it's maybe how I probably should have done this, then bring up the map likely would work after it was used and trained a couple times. So solar system, let's do show me the galaxy. Alright, so let's let that train and let's go back to the app and start hooking this up.
I was doing it like imbue with fire and add the fire element, both having intent of enchant_fire.
Yeah, so when I built the Wizard's Duel game, let me show you what that looks like a little bit. Because this probably directly applies to what you're doing. If you look at my intents, I've got a change spell intent. And that handles a bunch of different things. So if we go to understanding, you could say, give me the power of fire and cast a fireball. So I'm tracking the element as one entity and the spell specifically that I want to cast as another. So I have the option now of this is all going to say change spell. So I could do cast a fireball, and it'll notice that that's a spell, and it'll send me the change spell intent, but it won't send me the element. So you kind of have the option, depending on how you structure it, of grouping those all into a single intent and using the entities to separate them. And when you actually get to building the code on the other end, it's really handy if you're going to have more than just fire, to have an imbue action or an imbue intent, and maybe an add fire or add element intent, and then have the element itself be a entity. That way you can have the same callbacks basically that handle all of them, and then have them figure out from the entity value which element to use.
This is helpful.
Alright, so let's go ahead and add this to the scene in case you're not aware. Good assets, create voice SDK, and add app voice experience to the scene. That will add it, and it will find the first WIT configuration that's in your project. Which for me, the way I've got my project organized, it always goes to the right one, but you might need to change this value if you have the demo WIT configurations in there in addition to your regular weight configuration. Alright, so I am going to add under map.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And I'm going to stick my voice handlers for the map with the map itself. Show map handler. And we'll add a hide map handler. So the nice way of doing, one nice thing about doing it this way is since these handlers are under this, basically the scene and not under app voice experience, I can add app voice experience and the scene separately. And the handlers themselves will resolve the app voice experience at runtime. So you don't have to, you can basically modularly control which voice commands are being processed on a per scene basis. So let's open up the understanding viewer. Let's see if it's starting to recognize any of those commands we set up. Show me the map. We got map control with an action. Alright, so I want to capture the show action, and I want to make the action required. Let's say solar system map. And then map type will come in, and I'm also going to add a map type, but that one's not going to be required. So the way the map control command is going to work is I need the action to happen, and then optionally I'll have an additional parameter that is the type of map that's being shown. I think I'm just going to stick these in a multi-value event. That I'm going to process in map. Alright, we need code view. At least I remembered it before I got 20 minutes into writing code.
If you don't get the optional param, you'll just turn toggle the map.
Yes. So the way I want the map in this system to work is there'll be a solar system map, there'll be a galaxy map. If they don't specify a map type, it'll turn off any map that's currently active. If they specify a map type, it will turn off the map type that's currently active. Or if you say show, so let's say I'm on the galaxy map and I want to see my current solar system, it'll turn off the galaxy map and it'll turn on the solar system map. So it's a way to switch between maps in addition to hiding them. So it's a little context aware. What am I doing? Lord. And one thing to note with the multi-value event, the number of elements in the array is always going to match, whether we're required or not, the same number of value matchers, so that you have consistent perimeter indexes. If the type isn't included, for example, since it's an optional parameter, that field will just be empty.
So optional will be null?
Empty string. And the only reason it's not null, I think, is because that's how the JSON parser works. Is it provides an empty string if there's nothing there instead of null. And we didn't change that functionality too much. The wit response nodes are it's basically a simple JSON structure that we renamed so it wouldn't clash with other instances of this really common JSON library. And we added a few extra things to it too to better suit our needs, but we didn't want to have namespace clashes with other libraries that might use it or anything like that. I'm tempted to generate constants for this that can be used. Alright, so from the show. Yeah, I probably need to split this object up quite a bit and have a generic interface that I can call for solar system versus map, but we'll do this the simple way for now.
First step is make it work.
Yep. Galaxy's not going to do anything yet. We'll default showing solar system. Not implemented yet. Default hide all maps. Definitely not the best code, but it'll be functional at least. probably refactor this 5 or 6 times before I'm happy with it.
That's how it goes, smiley face.
Oops, I forgot to call the method. Let's fix that before we try to do this with our voice. Yeah, and so in Wizard's Duel, the players are all spawned dynamically, and they all have a bunch of wit response matchers on them to process voice commands. And the actual voice app voice experience component is part of a different scene. It's all loaded additively, and so when the player spawns in, it spawns in the wit response matcher, and then it assigns the wit object to it after the fact. Show me the solar system map. Oops, something's not right. Test. Show me the solar system map. That's working. Why is voice not working? Hide the map. Oh, something is wrong with my mic. Risky part of doing this on this particular computer is I've got like 500 different audio inputs on it, and I'm streaming and a bunch of other stuff is happening, and so there's a good chance that there's going to be an issue with the mic. Looks like it's got the right mic input. If you want to see which mic input is being used at runtime, there's a mic object that gets added onto the app voice experience when you hit run, so you can select which mic is reading. Test. I think we've got line 212
For
maybe?
runtime, it has to be text in the understanding viewer?
Yeah, the activate button is only available at runtime. So it'll only take text requests. Patch the debugger and see where this is actually crashing the first time. Show me the solar system map. Show me a solar system map. This may be a bug that we know about that is hit by an older version of Unity. Let me upgrade and see if that fixes it. Yeah, if you hit an issue like this, definitely let me know. There are potential ways to fix it if it is a wider spread issue than we are aware of. Hey, Freshie. I recognized your avatar right away. Those come in handy.
Lol. Is there an avatar config?
Yes, there is. If you want your own avatar, you can go to, let me grab the URL. I really need to figure out how to work out the exclamation commands for URLs. Let me grab the link. My web server is just really, really slow. There you go.
Stream avatar, doubling technologies live streams.
Yeah, there's a, you can configure your avatar there, and then there's, you basically paste the result link back in the chat, and it'll save your avatar for you. I wonder how many times I've blamed Unity for locking up when it's the debugger being attached. We are building a Starship bridge. So the idea is I want to be able to say, computer, show me the solar system map, and it brings up the map of the solar system that we're currently in on this holographic table. At least that's the component we're building now. The general idea is to turn this into a functional Starship bridge that does cool things. And we're just starting to integrate voice commands, and then I hit a bug. which may or may not be related to the current version, or it could be a crash elsewhere. I haven't debugged into it thoroughly.
Using HDRP?
URP. Show me the solar system map.
Gotcha.
Hey, there we go. Look at that. Hide the solar system map. Show me the map.
Woohoo.
Hide the map.
Sweet.
So, Warspawn, if you do hit that issue where it's crashing after, say, the first word, please let me know. We did not see that in testing beforehand, but I'm seeing it now for some reason, and it could just be that there was a race condition that released with v34 that is fixed, and if you want to fix it and try out the latest set of fixes for WIT, you basically you pull down the WIT repository and replace the WIT directory, the scripts directory under there, under the voice SDK with the WIT scripts directory. So if people actually do start hitting that, and I hear it's a problem, I'll direct them to that.
We'll be back shortly.
Show me the solar system. But it's still very much being tested. It's not ready for production yet, the one that's in WIT.
We'll keep that in mind.
Oh, there it goes. I guess I was just talking too much. Hide the solar system, please.
Suppose that's one reason to have the hackathon, to get some more devs banging on it.
Exactly. We're trying to get it stabilized for general release and to be ready to go into applications. So it went under quite a bit of testing, but we're still occasionally finding race conditions and bugs and the like now that more people are using it. Hide the solar system. I would like to see a map of the solar system real quick. That's not good. I would like to see a map of the solar system. Show me the solar system. Go. Hide the map, please. Let's see a map of the solar system. Wonder why it didn't show. Oh, it came up with 2 actions. So this is where you'll have to kind of tweak your utterances a little bit. So you'll notice that it mapped to let and see. So best way to go back and debug something like this, go back into wit or an open path. So if you're using wit Unity, you'll see these. If you're using voice SDK, you're not going to. And I just switched over so I could debug this. But generally, you'll paste it in here, and you'll see there's an action, resolve value let, and it's not something I want it to respond to. So you can delete this. And maybe delete this one. Maybe we'll train it to use let's see, or maybe just see to be show. And this is where, in this case, using an intent would probably work better than what I'm doing with entities, because an intent, it would have mapped to likely a show intent instead of the entity, the incorrect entity. So intents are a little bit more flexible in general. What else do we have in here? Show me the solar system. Yeah, and the other thing you can do is if you're using wit Unity and not voice SDK for test purposes, you'll get audio recordings of your data. You do not get this with voice SDK, since that's supposed to be something that's built into a release application. But in wit Unity, you can come in and you can preview your recordings that you've made and make sure the transcription matches and improve the transcriptions. Hide the solar system, please. So this one came, hide the solar system, please. And that is incorrect. So I would up this to be hide. Hit check, and then I'm going to hit the down arrow. Make sure that we're getting hide, solar system, and map control. I'll train and validate this. This is just stuff that'll improve the accuracy of your overall experience. So let's see a map of the solar system. We're still getting multiple actions. I don't think the training's finished. Yeah, training's still going. But in code, we can kind of address some of this too. And let's say maybe if you don't know what the action is, we'll treat it as a show. Depending on the actions, I mean, you may or may not want to do this, but for me, I think it's reasonable. Let's see a map of the solar system. There we go. Training finish? Nope. But, like I said, now I have a default action. My default's going to be the show state. Hide the map. What? Hide the map. Alright, so let's go ahead and get it set up so we can select the third planet.
Avatar.
Nice. Alright, now I gotta kill the avatars and restart it. Hopefully it saved. There's a bug with someone adds a new avatar. It basically assigns the avatar to my default avatar as well as your avatar. So it gets... I've actually fixed the bug. I just need to generate a new build of the avatar system to take advantage of it. But now, next time you speak, it'll be fine. There's a lot of work I need to put into the avatar system still. But it's been fun to build so far. Alright, so let's go ahead. I want to select a planet. So go back to understanding. Since I am in here, I can fix this. Hide the map. It does sound like hide the map. Oops, understanding. Let's do show me planet number 3. So I like that it's finding map type. I'm going to go ahead and resolve this to a built-in entity that is a number. So there's a show action on a map, on a planet specifically, and the number 3 planet. Alright, I'm going to try something and see what ASR thinks of this before I start training it. I want to try saying a class M planet and see if ASR will pick up on it. When we're talking about voice commands and ASR, short phrases and letters and numbers, like individual things like those, don't always get picked up well. So it helps to try them out a little bit first. Show me a class M planet. So that worked. Show me a Class M planet. So I think I might be able to do that. Show me a habitable planet. Show me all of the habitable planets. Alright, so it'll be a show action, map type, habitable planets. That might work, actually. I think I like that. And I didn't train it to do that. It just picked that up as the type. Which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do special case for habitable planets.
How about show me the iron-rich planets?
Yeah, let's see what that does. I don't. Oh, of course I just modified the code. It's gonna recompile. Show me iron-rich planets. Show me iron-rich planets. There's something up with the... Oh, it's... yeah. If that happens, it's likely because you've recompiled and references to various things are broken. So, yeah, I would recommend restarting your play mode. So we get map control and map type. It's going to give planet and iron rich. Okay. That might work. I would have to set up an extra handler for this. I want to add in better support for multiple entities, like array entity responses. We don't do a lot with it yet. So actions show. Show me the gold-rich planets. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to require more training for it to get it right. I think we got lucky with habitable planets. Yeah, let's create a new intent for this. It's going to be taking advantage of the fact that it got lucky is not going to be consistent enough. So let's create an intent that is planetary detail. So we want to do an element. And we want planetary planetary detail. Maybe planetary detail is the wrong thing because we could also take advantage of this and use the same. Since we have the map type, we could do planet and we could do sun. Show me stars. So when we're in the galactic map, we could say show me stars that are rich in iron to get a, or maybe star systems that are rich in iron. This will work, at least for planets. Let's stay focused on the local system first. So show me planets with high populations.
With breathable atmosphere.
Maybe we should call this a detail, and then we can have a quantity, an optional quantity field here too. Show me planets by enemy factions. I'm going to do alignment for these. Did I spell that right? Uninhabited. Uninhabited. So the training that we're doing here is going to also impact the training for map control because some of the phrases are going to overlap. And what's going to happen is the confidence levels are going to go down until we do more training. And so if you saw earlier when we were calling show map, the confidence was like 99% because there's only one intent. But you'll have to play around a bit with these utterances and the training. Maybe we can get a linguist to talk about some of this too at some point. I'll see what I can do about that. Maybe see if we can get a presentation on some of the intent design that is required. Okay, let's select a planet. And I think that'll probably end up being the last thing we do tonight. Alright, so one thing with WIT numbers that you should keep an eye out for, make sure you grab the numeric value. Which should be value, I guess, but the actual transcription, if you grab the body, for example, it could be the string version or it could be a numeric version. It really depends on how ASR comes back. Make sure you're grabbing the value and not the body, because the value will be the actual number. You won't have to try and parse strings. So what intent did we get here? We got map control and what we want.
Gotcha.
So, I'm just going to add an extra value matcher for this.
Some toys that she was giving away.
Huh?
Eddie gave me some toys that she was giving away. Some things. Big My Little Pony's the whole, like, My Little Pony thing. Pencil thing that I want
Okay, so we've got Show Planet. This is our planet orbit. Get our planet object. We want our solar system map. We're just doing this quick and dirty because we're not going to have time to fully build it right now, but I just want to see if this is going to kind of work. You are here now. Have you been watching, was it Home?
No. Law.
My Hero Academia.
Where am I getting?
I am just being stupid, LMFAO.
Yeah, so you're a dad. You have the excuse of having seen that movie. I've seen it a few times now. It's not horrible,
This is true.
but it's definitely one that my kids like to watch.
Which movie?
It's called Home, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Home. It's the one with Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory is a alien invading
Oh.
Earth. Oh yes, that's the one. This movie.
I just got Junior on the Jurassic Park kick.
Wait, how old is he now? He's
He loves dinos now, lol.
Is he watching that Jurassic Park cartoon? I guess, not the not
18
Jurassic
months.
World. Or is he? He may be young enough. You're letting him get away with actual
It
Jurassic
was a
Park.
pretty good movie.
Know all the real ones.
Okay.
Camp something.
Yeah, Camp something. My son started watching the Camp Jurassic Park. He's really into Jurassic Park now. He's reading. He's reading the actual original Jurassic Park Crichton books.
Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous.
Let's
Just over 3.5 hours till sail time, winking face.
Oh boy, maybe I should go live stream for the sale. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for the kids' dinner tonight. I really don't know.
One of my sons is in here hogging my quest playing Blade and Sorcery Nomad.
Make sure to include your credit card info.
Yeah, I'll make sure my credit card info is right up there up front. I better keep a paint up with my mother's maiden name and all that other information next to it, just to be sure.
Perfect man, thanks.
It's not till 9 p.m. tomorrow, right?
9 p.m. tonight. Let's see. It got 3 hours, 39 minutes.
Damn it, I need to be hackathoning, not paying ATTN to lightning deals smiley face.
If it makes you feel better,
So like I said, just
there are a lot of
over
repeats.
3.5 hours till sail time, winking face. LMFAO.
I want to grab this one this time if I can get only if I can get the 90% off. I'm not paying any more than that for this.
I think the 90% deals are only going to be good for like 2.
Well, maybe I'll have 4 systems up and running. I kind of want to grab this one this time. All of these are nice to have. Like, if I can get them for 90%, I'll do it. If they're more than 90%,
90%, etc.
I will not be buying.
Hold on, I'll grab the info.
Orbit. Selected planet. Area. Is key value pair a struct? Must be.
If it doesn't work, let me know and I'll post it in your Discord.
I don't think I have any filters turned on yet. Alright, this is very broken, but I'm gonna run out of
See,
time.
it says 20 at 90.
Yeah, we'll see if Unity's gonna bring their servers down with this, or if our community is small enough that it won't impact
Yeah,
them.
I knew I was off LMFAO.
I don't think they've run into a problem with a sale like this yet.
I think it's stupid.
Community is never small enough for Russian scammers.
What are the Russian scammers going to do? It'd be, I mean, the only thing they could really do is pirate them, and they're not going to pay even the 90% off to pirate them.
Well, I suppose that's true.
Now, if there were vouchers, yeah, no question. Like if you were competing for vouchers, people would definitely abuse that. But since they're tied to your account, there's really no point. It looks like we finished that soundtrack.
Well, sadly I have to go. Good luck and thanks for all the tips.
Yep, I will be shutting down in just a few minutes as well, before hungry kids start making a mess.
Good night at War Spawn.
Show me the solar system. Show me planet number 5. Oh, it did work. Just use the wrong version of position.
Any recommendations for an inventory system?
No. I mean, Rucksack is out there. All of the inventory systems that I've seen out there are. I'd be better off rebuilding them myself. Just because inventory system is very specific to how any of my games function. I think Infinity PBR just put out a new one recently, and it looks good, but it's just the amount of time it would take me to learn the system. I could write one that's exactly what I need faster.
Okay.
So let's not reparent. Let's just set the position to 0. Then we'll see it rotate. Local scale. That's good. We'll restore the planet's local position. Like that. I think my kids are watching Home Alone. I just recognize the theme.
I can't hear it.
It's pretty quiet. I can just barely hear it. Means the mic's doing what it should be doing. You shouldn't have to hear what they're doing. Show me the solar system. Show me planet number 5.
Well, sometimes I can, but overall, no, I can't hear long.
Number 5. And when they're watching TV or something like that, you really shouldn't hear them. When they're bouncing around in this room and screaming their heads off after they come in from playing with their friends or whatever, yeah, not a whole lot I can do about that. They do get, they can get pretty excited when they get home. What do we come in as? We came in as map control, confidence, 98%. With number 5, map type planet. I think that should have worked. Let's add a log that says which planet we're showing. Let's take a look. Planet object, correct. Oh. That would do it. We're moving the wrong object. We're moving the actual planet, not the map representation of the planet.
Oops.
Show me the solar system. Show me the 5th planet. I saw it jump. Where did it jump to? One, two, three, four, five. This one there, I think. But if that's okay. Well, they're definitely not going up in the right order, but that's okay. Like we want to go 10x on the scale. We'll do the same scaling that we're doing for the solar system. I'm probably doing this totally wrong, but I'm just gonna I'm just giving it a try for the fun of it. have not thoroughly thought through the math on this. Okay. Last attempt, whether this works or not. I just wanted to see if we could do something quick to animate the planet out.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Show me the solar system. Show me the 5th planet. Womp womp. Whoa, why did that show up as an entire action? Show me the 5th planet. Show me planet number 5. Because I haven't taught how to use 5th yet. That's why. So S0P4. selected a planet, but it did not show it. Probably something wrong with my while statement. That's alright. I'll play with this a little bit more and get kind of some of the animations going at another time. But we're out of time for tonight, so I think we will leave it there. I will switch to the outro.
KK man, good night. Catch you next round.
But yeah, everybody, thanks for hanging out and watching me start building a bridge command control voice command thing for the fun of it. I enjoyed it. So, alright, have a good night.